Hey everyone, I'm Almar of almarsguides.com, and in this video I'm going to be talking about auction house tips for Classic WoW. Specifically in between the Dire Maul release and Phase 2. I'm going to go over a few things that I went over in the previous video in case anybody didn't see that, and also because the items that I went over in the previous video are actually literally still going up in price. The first item I'm going to draw your attention to is Elemental Fire, which actually somebody just cleared a bunch of them out. There was about 20 of them listed for 1 gold that I was going to clear out for the purpose of this video, but somebody beat me to it. So, Elemental Fires. You're going to want to buy these on the weekends as well as on non-raid days and not before the raid day. On specifically days that guilds raid on your server, especially if there's more than one guild that's raiding, these are going to double or even triple in price. I've seen it happen multiple times, and it used to always happen. It always happens in World of Warcraft for raid mats. It's pretty common knowledge that the day before raids, people are like, oh yeah, I need pots, man. And then they go and buy all the mats they need, regardless of how much they're actually listed for. Now, aside from the elemental fires, the other main herb that you'll be able to buy and resell, in my opinion at least, is Dreamfoil. As you can see, the prices are a little scattered here. Average is about 9 gold a stack, but as you can see, they're going down to almost half that. And there's also something else about herbs in particular that you're going to want to keep in mind. Not so much Dreamfoil, but really every single herb in the game. In Dire Maul East, herbs have a chance of dropping off the enemies. Almost any herb throughout the entire game. It doesn't matter what it is. Gold Thorn, Blindweed, Dreamfoil, Plague Bloom, doesn't freaking matter. Now, most of the people, when they're running Dire Maul East, they don't have herbalism or have alchemy or have any reason to hold on to these herbs. So when they get back to the auction house, they're literally just going to slap it on the auction house, undercutting for the lowest possible amount just so it sells quickly. Because, you're not going to get rich off of one herb, so you really don't even care about pricing it normally. So for anybody who's looking to make a little bit of money, that would be a pretty good way if you're on a high pop server. If you went through all of the herbs, or if you have like a trade skill master or whatever add-on that does it for you, have it go through all of the herbs and buy all of them that are low price and dramatically undercutting what else is on the auction house. Now, if you don't feel like listening to me for the rest of this video, you can just pause it here and take a look at my script. But the second thing I'm going to draw your attention to is something that's temporarily going on, which is the Hollow's End event. Specifically, food from the Hollow's End event is better than almost any food that you can currently make for stamina purposes, so basically for tanks. However, a lot of people are going to use this food to save money on the better food that they would be eating. So stuff like Tender Wolf, for example. This is another sort of food that I see a lot of people eating, and it's the one that's 1 degree worse than the Hollow's End one. So these are going to go up on the auction house for, as you can see, they're less than they would be normally selling, which I don't even know what the normal price would be. I'm actually going to buy a few of these because even if I don't want to use them, I'll give them out to people on raids. 3 gold is barely anything. Grilled squid is another one, and so is the rum tum tubers. Grilled squid, as we can see. Oh wow, that one person, quite a low price there. But as you can see, these are starting to go down in price as Hollow's End is coming out. Run tum tubers. Wow. I did not expect to see them so low in price already. Well, as you can see, these are already dropping in price quite a bit. I bet you after Hollow's End is over, you'll be able to sell these for a lot more than the 6 gold you see them listed. Right now, people are using the other food because, why not? It's free. Every inn has a set of bobbing apples you can go to and get it for completely free. There's literally no reason to use the other food right now. Or almost no reason, I should say, to use the other food right now. So keep that in mind. If you buy this food now, you may be able to sell it later on for a little bit more money. Now, the second thing we're going to talk about is Dire Maul North tribute items. I talked about this in the previous video, but you really need to take into consideration how much everything is going up in price and how easy it would be to sell everything. Like Frost Oil right here. wouldn't actually be hard to make frost oil either. As you can see, they're going for ridiculous amounts. Like 125% of what they're normally listed at, or rather 25% higher than what they're listed at. Frost oil, let's do thorium widgets. Thorium widgets is actually something I sell quite a bit of. These, it doesn't take much money to make them at all, and they sell pretty darn good because they're used in Dire Maul North on the traps, I'm pretty sure. So thorium widgets, frost oil, rugged leather, and then you also have these two optional ones. Also, the materials used to make these two items are also something you may want to keep an eye out for. And in case you're listening to me while alt-tabbed, the two items I'm talking about are large C4ium charge and true silver skeleton key. Both of them are also used in Dire Maul North, and people aren't always going to go out of their way to collect the mats themselves. They're going to buy them from the auction house. If you don't have a rogue, you have to use one of those two items in order to do the tribute run. Now, there's a second thing here's a tip that's only going to be for engineers, and that is target dummies. Not the ones you see on my screen right now, the advanced target dummies. Nope, these aren't the correct ones. You want the very, very, very low level ones that are just plain flat out called target dummy. I'll show you in my, right here. They used 1 copper modulator, 2 copper bolts, 1 bronze bar, 1 wool cloth. When you throw these on the ground after 15 seconds and the target dummy dies, there's like a 10 to 15% chance that there's a fused wiring on the corpse of the target dummy. If you don't know what fused wirings are, aside from looking at the price on the auction house right here, they're used in field repair robots, along with other engineering recipes. You can make this target dummy for 10 silver, if that. Or you can find it on the auction house for less than that, too. I almost always check the auction house when I'm in Orgrimmar to see if there's one of these listed. Occasionally, I do find them, and that's how I get my fused wirings for the repair robots. I don't actually buy the fused wirings. It's too much money. I'd rather just use the target dummies, destroy them, and loot their corpses. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about, aside from rugged leather, which we've already kind of gone over, is elemental earth. These are going to be used in not only many recipes right now, but quite a few recipes coming up. As you can see, they're starting to go up in price quite a bit. And almost all of them are 500% higher than what they used to be last time I scanned the auction house, which was probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago, because I've been slacking with that. So as you can see, the prices for elemental earth are going up quite a significant portion. Let's check out rugged leather once we spell it correctly. Prices are actually going down a little bit on these. A lot of people must be farming it and taking a break from Dire Maul, which is a good and bad thing. On your server, it might be a little different. On my server, I'm sure middle of the week, these will actually start going up in price, and I'll actually buy that one. And the last thing on my script is talking about the auction house herbs, which we've already gone over for Dire Maul. There's going to be fell cloth is something else you can keep in mind too, since a lot of people are running Dire Maul now. Check the fell cloth prices and see if they've gone down substantially and if they're worth buying and reselling. Aside from that, there's only a few other things I can talk about prior to Phase 2. And one of them that I went over in the previous video is these rings. I highly recommend every once in a while you search of fire resistance on the auction house like this. And specifically sort by rings is what I would recommend you do. Because that's most often what people are willing to buy. They're not willing to buy like stuff like that, the cloth bracers. They probably aren't going to sell. Something like this though, this probably will sell eventually. Obviously not right now. Poor guy has 30 minutes left. It's going to fall off the auction house. My server is very low pop, so these items aren't really that useful right now. But eventually they're going to be useful. Also, a long-term money-making tip is instead of fire resistance, do nature resistance. They won't sell for a large amount until AQ comes out, which is still ways away. Could be almost a year for all we know. So I'll address that in a later video when it's more relevant to now. The last thing that's worth mentioning is twink items, which I'm actually going to do a video about twink items in the future. I'm not going to cover them in detail in this video since we've already been going on for a while, but There's quite a bit you should know about Twink items, and Phase 2 coming out in 2 months? 1 month? 3 months? Something like that. Phase 2 is coming soon, and that's when PvP starts. But that's not when Twink items will go up in price a lot. Only when Battlegrounds come out will Twink items go up in price. Because that's when you're allowed to turn off EXP, and obviously that's when the Battleground brackets come out that make the Twink levels relevant. 19, 29, 39. Those are the primary Twink levels. Anyway, that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully I gave you guys... some of my stuff is selling already, the thorium widgets. Hopefully I gave you guys some good info. Hopefully you learned something, make a little bit of gold off the info I gave you. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I'll see you guys in the next video.